The massive Zephyrian battleship hung in space like a silver needle against the black void. Inside its command center, Admiral Vexthara watched the blue-green planet spinning slowly on the main screen. Her 4 eyes gleamed with excitement as she studied the readings from their long-range scanners. "Perfect," she whispered, her translator device converting her words into the common galactic language. "Absolutely perfect." Behind her, the bridge crew worked at their stations. Each Zephyrian was tall and thin, with pale blue skin and large black eyes. They had ruled 12 star systems for over 1,000 years, and they were very good at one thing: entertainment. The Zephyrian Empire had built its wealth on broadcasting wars and conquests across the galaxy. Billions of aliens from hundreds of different species paid to watch their shows. The more violent and exciting the content, the more money they made. And now they had found the perfect target. "Captain Zorlin, begin the preliminary scans," Admiral Vexthara ordered. "I want to know everything about these creatures." Captain Zorlin, a younger Zephyrian with bright silver markings on his forehead, nodded quickly. "Yes, Admiral. The scanning teams report that the planet has approximately 8 billion inhabitants. They call themselves humans and their world Earth. 8 billion? The Admiral's eyes widened. "Excellent. Our viewers love large populations. More targets mean longer shows." The data flowed across the screens. The Zephyrians studied human cities, military bases, and technology. What they saw made them even more excited. The humans had primitive weapons compared to Zephyrian plasma cannons. Their fastest ships barely reached their own moon, while Zephyrian vessels could cross star systems in days. "Look at this," Captain Zorlin laughed, pointing at images of human soldiers. "They still use metal bullets and explosive devices. They don't even have energy shields." Admiral Vexthara smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "This will be our greatest show yet. Send word to the broadcasting division. Tell them to prepare for a full-scale entertainment invasion. I want cameras on every ship, every weapon, every soldier." Across the galaxy, the news spread quickly. The Zephyrian Entertainment Network announced their newest show, Primitive Elimination, the Earth Campaign. Pre-orders for viewing access broke all previous records. Alien families gathered around their viewing screens, excited to watch the destruction of an entire species. The Korthik Empire, known for their love of violence, bought premium viewing packages. The Peaceful Melody Federation, despite their claims of being civilized, quietly purchased access too. Even the ancient Void Whisperers, who rarely showed interest in anything, sent payment for the broadcast rights. On Earth, humans had no idea what was coming. They continued their daily lives, going to work, raising families, and dealing with their small problems. Some looked up at the stars and wondered if life existed elsewhere in the universe. They had no way of knowing that life had found them, and it was not friendly. The Zephyrian fleet grew larger each day. More ships arrived from across their empire, each one equipped with the latest broadcasting equipment. They had mobile camera drones, sound recording devices, and special sensors that could capture the fear on human faces from orbit. The first wave will target their major cities. Admiral Vexthara explained to her fleet commanders through the communication system. "New York, London, Tokyo, Moscow. We want maximum visual impact for our opening sequence. What about their military forces?" Ask Commander Yithrex from the heavy assault ship Doombringer. "Leave them for last," the Admiral replied. "Let them think they have a chance. Desperation makes for better entertainment. Our viewers love to see hope slowly die." The fleet moved closer to Earth, staying just outside the range of human detection systems. The Zephyrians had done this many times before. They knew how to approach a primitive world without being noticed until it was too late. In the broadcasting center of the flagship, Director Polmenth made final preparations. Hundreds of camera operators checked their equipment. Sound engineers tested the audio feeds. Special effects teams prepared graphics and dramatic music for the opening ceremony. Remember, Director Pullman told his crew, "This is not just a military operation. This is entertainment. We need drama, excitement, and emotional impact. Film everything. The explosions, the destruction, the fear on their faces. Our viewers are paying good money to see a show." The countdown began. 3 days until broadcast start. 2 days. One day, Admiral Vexthara stood on her bridge, looking at Earth through the main viewing window. The planet looked so peaceful, so unaware of what was about to happen. She had done this to 47 other worlds. Each time had been profitable and entertaining. This time would be no different. "Admiral," Captain Jarlin reported, "all ships are in position. Weapons are charged. Camera crews are ready. The galaxy is watching." Across the civilized worlds, alien families gathered in their homes. Children pressed against viewing screens, while parents prepared snacks and drinks. This was the biggest entertainment event in decades. The destruction of an entire species, broadcast live across the galaxy. "Begin the transmission," Admiral Vexthara ordered. The opening music started. Dramatic and powerful, it played across billions of screens throughout the galaxy. The Zephyrian logo appeared, followed by the show title, Primitive Elimination, The Earth Campaign. Admiral Vexthara's face appeared on screens everywhere. She smiled coldly at the camera. "Greetings, viewers across the galaxy. Today, we bring you something special. A primitive species that calls itself human has been found on a small world they call Earth. These creatures have no real weapons, no space fleet, and no chance of survival." The camera switched to show the Zephyrian fleet surrounding Earth. Hundreds of warships, each one more advanced than anything humans had ever imagined. "Today," the Admiral continued, "we will show you how a superior species deals with primitive life. Prepare yourselves for the complete elimination of the human race. Let the entertainment begin." The first Zephyrian ships broke Earth's atmosphere, their plasma weapons charging. The show had started. The galaxy was watching. And on Earth, 8 billion humans had no idea that their extinction was being broadcast as entertainment to the stars. The first Zephyrian attack came at dawn. Plasma beams fell from the sky like deadly rain, turning the center of New York City into melted glass and twisted metal. The aliens filmed everything, their cameras capturing every explosion and every scream. Admiral Vexthara watched with satisfaction as her ships destroyed the human city. "Excellent footage," she told Director Pullman. "The way those primitive buildings collapsed was perfect. Our viewers must be loving this." Across the galaxy, aliens cheered as they watched the destruction. Children pointed excitedly at their screens, while adults placed bets on how long humans would survive. The general opinion was 3 days. Maybe 4 if the humans ran and hid well. But deep beneath the ground, far below the destroyed city, something else was happening. General Sarah Chen stood in the command center of Site Omega, a facility that officially did not exist. Around her, hundreds of the best military minds on Earth worked at computer stations and communication devices. The room hummed with activity, but there was no panic. "Confirmed hits on New York, London, and Tokyo," reported Colonel Martinez, his voice calm despite the terrible news. "Moscow is under attack now. The aliens are following the pattern we predicted." General Chun nodded slowly. She was a small woman, but everyone in the room respected her completely. She had spent 20 years preparing for this exact moment. "Activate Protocol Omega. Send the authorization to all sites." Around the world, similar underground facilities received the same message. In hidden bunkers beneath mountains, under deserts, and deep in the ocean floor, Humans who had waited their entire lives for this moment began their work. The aliens continued their attack, moving from city to city like they were following a shopping list. Their weapons were powerful, and their ships seemed unstoppable. But they made one crucial mistake. They thought they understood humans. Dr. James Wright had been studying the alien broadcasts for 6 hours straight. The translation computers worked constantly, turning alien speech into English. Every word the aliens said, every order they gave, every comment about their weapons and tactics was being recorded and analyzed. They're calling their plasma weapons Class 7 energy projectors. He told General Chun through the communication system. Based on their technical discussions, I believe we can build countermeasures. How long? The general asked. We already have them, Dr. Wright replied with a small smile. We've been studying their technology through their entertainment broadcasts for the past 5 years. Every time they showed a conquest, we learned something new. The truth was shocking, even to the humans involved. Earth's governments had detected Zephyrian transmissions years ago. Instead of panicking, they had done something the aliens never expected. They had studied every show, every broadcast, every piece of technology the aliens had ever displayed for entertainment. Captain Lisa Rodriguez climbed into the cockpit of her fighter jet. But this was not the same aircraft she had trained in. Hidden engineers had spent years building new weapons based on stolen alien technology. Her jet now carried experimental energy weapons and defensive systems that the aliens thought were impossible for humans to create. Phantom Squadron, this is Control, came the voice in her earpiece. You are cleared for Operation Payback. Show these aliens what humans do to uninvited guests. Lisa smiled grimly. She had lost her brother in the New York attack. Now it was time for revenge. The Zephyrian ships were finishing their attack on Moscow when the human counterattack began. It started small, just a few aircraft that seemed to appear from nowhere. Admiral Vexthara barely noticed them. Some of their primitive aircraft are approaching, Captain Zolin reported. Should we destroy them? Let them come closer, the Admiral laughed. Our viewers will enjoy watching their primitive weapons bounce off our shields. But the human weapons did not bounce off. Lisa Rodriguez fired her experimental energy cannon directly into the nearest alien ship. The beam punched through the Zephyrian shields like they were made of paper and exploded the ship's engine section. Across the galaxy, alien viewers sat up straighter. That was not supposed to happen. Impossible, Admiral Vexthara shouted. Our shields are invincible. How did that primitive weapon penetrate them? More human aircraft appeared. They moved differently than the aliens expected, using tactics that seemed random but were actually carefully planned. The human pilots flew their ships in ways that defied normal logic, diving through debris fields and using the destroyed alien ships as cover. The Zephyrians tried to respond, but their weapons could not lock onto the human aircraft. The humans moved too quickly, too unpredictably. They seemed to know exactly where the alien weapons would fire before the aliens did. Captain Mike Thompson led the ground forces in the ruins of London. His soldiers carried weapons that looked human but fired energy bolts instead of bullets. They had studied alien tactical manuals for years, learning every formation and strategy the Zephyrians used. Team Alpha, flank left. Team Beta, hit them from the roof. Team Gamma, underground approach, he ordered through his radio. Remember, these aliens have better technology, but they don't understand guerrilla warfare. The human soldiers moved through the destroyed city like ghosts. They used the rubble as cover, appeared from sewers and buildings, and struck the alien ground forces from directions the Zephyrians never thought to guard. Across the galaxy, the alien audience began to feel uncomfortable. This was not the one-sided massacre they had paid to watch. The humans were fighting back, and they were winning. General Chun watched the battle reports with satisfaction. Phase 1 is complete, she announced to her staff. The aliens now know we can fight. Begin Phase 2. Phase 2 was psychological warfare. Human hackers, trained for decades in breaking alien communication systems, began broadcasting their own messages. Instead of crying for mercy, humans sent videos of their preparations, their weapons, and their determination. "Hello, alien viewers," said a human soldier, speaking directly into the camera while standing over a destroyed Zephyrian war machine. "You came here for entertainment. You wanted to watch us die. Instead, let us show you something else. Let us show you what happens when you attack Earth." The soldiers stepped aside to reveal rows of captured alien equipment, human scientists studying it, and new weapons being built in real time. Dr. Elizabeth Hayes appeared on screens across the galaxy, holding a piece of alien technology. "Thank you for bringing us your science," she said calmly. "We've spent years studying your broadcasts. Every weapon you showed off, every ship you displayed, every tactical manual you discussed for entertainment, we recorded all of it. We learned from it, and now we've improved upon it." Behind her, human engineers worked on devices that combined alien technology with human innovation in ways the original creators had never imagined. Admiral Vexthara realized with growing horror that the entertainment program had become something else entirely. The humans were not victims. They were not primitives. They were predators who had been watching, learning, and preparing. "Cut the broadcast," she ordered. "We can't," Director Polmenth replied, his voice shaking. "The humans have taken control of our communication systems. They're broadcasting this themselves now." Across the galaxy, alien children hid behind their parents as they watched human soldiers efficiently destroy Zephyrian forces with cold precision. The entertainment had become a nightmare, and they could not turn it off. 3 months into what the Zephyrians had called their entertainment invasion, Admiral Vexthara no longer felt entertained. Her fleet, which had started with over 300 ships, was now down to less than half that number. The humans had proven to be far more dangerous than anyone in the galaxy had expected. "Admiral, we're receiving another transmission from the Zephyrian High Command," Captain Zarlin reported, his voice tired and stressed. Admiral Vexthara almost did not want to hear it. The High Command had been sending increasingly angry messages as their greatest entertainment program turned into a disaster. Viewers across the galaxy were demanding refunds. Some were even canceling their subscriptions to Zephyrian programming entirely. "Put it through," she said. Supreme Director Kalthus appeared on the main screen. His 4 eyes glowed with fury. "Admiral, explain to me how a primitive species has destroyed half of our invasion fleet." "The humans are not primitive," Admiral Vexthara replied. "They've been studying our technology for years. They know our tactics, our weapons, our weaknesses." "Impossible. They don't even have space travel." "That's what we thought too," the Admiral said quietly. At that moment, alarms began screaming throughout the Zephyrian fleet. Captain Zorlin's eyes went wide as he stared at his sensor readings. "Admiral, you need to see this." The main screen changed to show the space around Earth. What they saw made every Zephyrian on the bridge freeze in terror. Ships were appearing from behind the Earth's moon. Not primitive human rockets, but actual starships with faster-than-light engines and weapon systems that looked disturbingly familiar. There were dozens of them, then hundreds, then more than the sensors could accurately count. Where did they come from? Admiral Vexthara whispered. Her answer came from an open communication channel. A human face appeared on every screen in the Zephyrian fleet. It was General Chun, speaking from what was clearly the command bridge of a human warship. "Hello, Admiral," General Chun said calmly. "Allow me to introduce myself. I am General Sarah Chun of the Earth Defense Force. I believe you and your people have been having fun at our expense." "Impossible," Admiral Vexthar breathed. "You don't have the technology for space travel." General Chun smiled, but it was not a friendly expression. "You're right. We didn't. But you brought it to us. Every time your people broadcast one of your entertainment conquests, we watched. We learned. We recorded every technical detail, every specification, every design feature you showed off for your audience." The camera pulled back to show the human bridge. It was filled with technology that looked like a hybrid of human and alien design, but somehow more advanced than either. "For the past 5 years," General Chung continued, "our best scientists and engineers have been building a fleet. We use your own entertainment programs as technical manuals. Your people were so proud of showing off their superior technology that they gave us complete blueprints for everything we needed." Admiral Vexthara felt sick. The entertainment broadcasts had included detailed technical discussions, weapon demonstrations, and ship specifications. The Zephyrians had thought they were showing off to primitive audiences who could never understand the science involved. "But we didn't just copy your technology," General Chun said. "We improved it." As if to demonstrate, the human ships opened fire. Their weapons were clearly based on Zephyrian designs, but they were faster, more powerful, and more accurate than anything in the alien fleet. Zephyrian shields that had protected their ships for centuries were pierced and destroyed in seconds. "All ships, scatter formation," Admiral Vexthara ordered. "Retreat to jump coordinates." But the human ships moved to intercept them. They were faster than Zephyrian vessels, more maneuverable, and their pilots seemed to know exactly what the aliens would do before they did it. Captain Lisa Rodriguez, now commanding a human battleship instead of a fighter jet, watched the alien ships try to escape. "Target the engines," she ordered her weapons officer. "We want them alive for questioning." The human fleet moved with precision and coordination that shocked the watching galaxy. These were not the primitive beings that had been marked for entertainment extinction. These were hunters, and they had been preparing for this moment for years. Dr. James Wright worked from his laboratory aboard the human flagship. Around him, alien prisoners sat in containment fields while his team extracted information from captured Zephyrian computers. "General," he reported to Chun through the communication system, "we've broken their navigation systems. We have the locations of every Zephyrian world, every space station, every ship in their empire." General Chun nodded grimly. "What about their allies?" "Even better," Dr. Wright replied. "We've traced their broadcast network. We know where every signal was sent, which means we have the location of every alien civilization that paid to watch our extinction across the galaxy." Alien leaders who had enjoyed the first 3 months of the show began to feel very uncomfortable. The Korthek Empire, the Melody Federation, the Void Whisperers, and dozens of other civilizations suddenly realized that Earth now knew exactly where to find them. Admiral Vexthara's ship was surrounded by human vessels. Her weapons were disabled, her shields were down, and her crew was terrified. When the human boarding parties arrived, they moved with military efficiency that impressed even the aliens. "Admiral Vexthara," said Colonel Martinez as he stepped onto her bridge, "you are now a prisoner of war. Your entertainment program has been permanently canceled." "You can't do this," the Admiral protested. "The Zephyrian Empire is ancient and powerful. We rule 12 star systems." Colonel Martinez smiled coldly. "Not anymore." The human broadcast to the galaxy continued, but now it was Earth sending the message. General Chun appeared on screens throughout civilized space, speaking directly to every alien who had paid to watch humanity's destruction. "Citizens of the galaxy," she began. 3 months ago, You paid money to watch the extinction of our species. You thought it would be entertaining to see 8 billion humans die for your amusement. The camera showed images of destroyed human cities. Dead human civilians, children who had lost their families in the alien attacks. You were wrong, General Chun continued. We are not entertainment. We are not primitives. We are not victims. We are humans, and we remember everything. Behind her, screens displayed the locations of every alien world that had purchased viewing rights to the show. Names, coordinates, population numbers, military strengths, all gathered from the Zephyrian Broadcast Network. You wanted to watch a species die, General Chun said. Now you will. But it won't be humanity. The human fleet began to move. Ships peeled away from Earth in different directions, heading toward distant star systems. Each one carried enough firepower to destroy an entire civilization. And they all had the same mission. Admiral Vexthara, now locked in a human prison cell, watched through a viewport as Earth's revenge fleet departed. She had started this as entertainment, expecting to provide a fun show for galactic audiences. Instead, she had awakened something that the galaxy was not prepared for. Humanity was no longer hiding on a single world. They had become a spacefaring civilization overnight, and they had a very long list of beings who owed them payback. The entertainment program was over. The war for the galaxy had just begun. The first Zephyrian colony to die was Veltaran Prime, a peaceful agricultural world with 3 billion inhabitants. The human fleet arrived exactly 1 month after Admiral Vexthara's surrender, dropping out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system like shadows emerging from a nightmare. Supreme Director Kalthus watched the human approach from his command center on the Zephyrian homeworld. The planet's defensive fleet moved to intercept, confident that their superior numbers would drive off the human raiders. They were wrong. Captain Lisa Rodriguez commanded the human task force from her flagship, the Retribution. Her orders were simple and absolute, complete elimination. No survivors, no refugees, no trace that Zephyrian civilization had ever existed on this world. All ships begin orbital bombardment, she ordered calmly. Remember, this is not conquest. This is extinction. The human ships opened fire with weapons that combined alien technology with human innovation in terrifying ways. Planet-cracking bombs fell like rain, each one designed to not just destroy buildings, but to make the world itself uninhabitable forever. The Zephyrian defense fleet tried to fight back, but their weapons could barely scratch the human ships. The humans had studied every aspect of Zephyrian military doctrine through their entertainment programs. They knew every tactic, every weakness, every way the aliens would respond to each situation. Within 6 hours, Veltaran Prime was a dead world. The atmosphere was poison, the surface was melted glass, and every single living thing on the planet had been eliminated. The humans broadcast every moment of the destruction to the galaxy, just as the Zephyrians had broadcast the attacks on Earth. One down, Captain Rodriguez reported to General Chun. 42 worlds to go. Across the galaxy, alien civilizations watched in growing horror. The humans were not just fighting a war. They were methodically erasing an entire species from existence, and they were documenting every moment of it. The Zephyrian homeworld of Zephyra had never been attacked in its 1,000-year history. It was protected by massive space stations, defensive satellites, and the largest military fleet in their empire. Supreme Director Kalthus was confident that no enemy could threaten their capital world. He had not accounted for human creativity. Dr. Elizabeth Hayes led the research team that developed what they called stellar manipulation technology. It was based on Zephyrian star mapping equipment that had been shown off in their entertainment programs. But the humans had found ways to use it that the original creators never imagined. Target: the Zephyra system star. Dr. Hayes reported to the human fleet commander. We've identified the exact resonance frequency needed to destabilize the star's fusion process. How long until the star goes nova? The commander asked. Approximately 72 hours after we begin the process, Dr. Hayes replied. Long enough for them to understand what's happening, but not long enough for them to evacuate. The human fleet took position around the Zephyrian star and began their work. Massive energy transmitters, built from salvaged alien technology, sent precise frequencies into the star's core. The star began to react immediately, growing brighter and more unstable by the hour. On Zephyra, panic spread through the population as their scientists detected the changes in their sun. They had 40 billion inhabitants and 72 hours to evacuate them all. It was impossible, and the humans knew it. Supreme Director Kalthus broadcast a desperate message to the human fleet. Please, we surrender. We admit defeat. Stop this madness. General Chun's response was broadcast to every world in the galaxy. You had 3 months to consider surrender while you murdered our people for entertainment. You had 3 months to show mercy while you broadcast our suffering for profit. Now you have 72 hours to experience what you put us through. The camera switched to show images of destroyed human cities, mass graves, families who had died in the alien attacks. Every human death in your entertainment program will be paid for with Zephyrian blood, General Chun continued. Every moment of suffering you broadcast will be returned to you 1,000-fold. The star continued to destabilize. Evacuation ships fled the Zephyrian home world in desperate waves, but there were too many people and too little time. The humans made no move to stop the evacuation attempts, but they also made no effort to help. On the third day, the star exploded. The nova destroyed everything in the Zephyra system instantly. The homeworld, the space stations, the evacuation ships, and 37 billion Zephyrians died in a flash of light that could be seen from neighboring star systems. The galaxy watched in stunned silence. An entire civilization's capital had been erased by turning their own star into a weapon. It was a level of warfare that most species had thought impossible. But the humans were not finished. Colonel Martinez led the assault on the Zephyrian military base at Courtville Station. Instead of using traditional warfare, the human forces deployed biological weapons specifically designed to target Zephyrian genetics. The alien soldiers died slowly and painfully, and every moment was broadcast to their remaining worlds. This is for New York, Colonel Martinez said as he walked through the station filled with alien corpses. This is for London. This is for Tokyo. This is for Moscow. Captain Thompson led the ground invasion of Yithmundo, a Zephyrian industrial world. His soldiers moved through the cities methodically, eliminating every alien they found. But they did not simply kill them quickly. They used psychological warfare techniques that drove the aliens insane with fear before death finally came. You wanted entertainment, Captain Thompson told a captured Zephyrian commander before executing him. How entertaining is this? Dr. Wright developed nanomachines that could destroy Zephyrian technology at the molecular level. Human ships dropped clouds of these microscopic weapons onto alien worlds, and within hours, every piece of advanced technology simply dissolved into dust. The Zephyrians tried to fight back, but their remaining fleets were systematically hunted down and destroyed. Their soldiers surrendered rather than face human forces in battle. Their civilians fled their worlds in terror, but the humans followed them wherever they went. The killing became a science. Human forces studied each Zephyrian world and chose the most effective method of elimination. Some worlds died by orbital bombardment. Others were poisoned by biological weapons. A few were simply abandoned after their populations fled, leaving entire civilizations as ghost towns. the galaxy's other species watched in growing terror. The humans were not just winning a war. They were demonstrating a capacity for total destruction that no one had believed possible. Every alien civilization that had paid to watch human suffering began to understand that they might be next. The Korthic Empire, which had purchased premium viewing packages for the original entertainment program, quietly began moving their fleets away from human space. The Melody Federation sent desperate diplomatic messages offering tribute and alliance. The ancient Void Whisperers, who had existed for millions of years, actually fled their home systems rather than risk human attention. 1 year after the entertainment program began, only 3 Zephyrian worlds remained alive. Their populations huddled in underground bunkers, waiting for the human ships that would inevitably come. Some committed suicide rather than face capture. Others simply sat and waited for death. General Chun stood on the bridge of her flagship as it approached the last Zephyrian stronghold. Around her, the human fleet prepared for the final battle of the war. But there would be no battle. The aliens had already surrendered. "General," reported her communication officer, "we're receiving a transmission from the surface. The remaining Zephyrian leadership wants to negotiate terms for survival." General Chun looked at the planet through the main viewing window. 12 star systems, 43 worlds, 50 billion inhabitants reduced to 1 world and a few million survivors. "Tell them there are no terms," she said quietly. "Tell them that entertainment programs don't get happy endings." The last Zephyrian world died as the sun set on their empire. An entire species wiped from existence in exactly 1 year. The humans had proven that when their survival was threatened, they would respond with a totality of destruction that terrified the galaxy. The entertainment program was over. The Zephyrian Empire was extinct. And every alien civilization in the galaxy now knew that humanity was the most dangerous species that had ever existed. The war lasted exactly 1 Earth year. When it ended, the Zephyrian Empire existed only in historical records and the nightmares of galactic citizens. 50 billion aliens had been eliminated from the universe. Their 43 worlds were empty graveyards. And their 12 star systems served as monuments to what happened when someone tried to make humans into entertainment. General Sarah Chun stood in her office aboard the Earth Defense Command Station, looking out at the traffic of ships coming and going from Earth. But these were not just human ships anymore. Alien vessels approached with diplomatic flags, trade permits, and tribute offerings. The galaxy had learned to treat humanity with respect. "General," her aide reported, "the Korthic ambassador is here for his scheduled appointment." General Chun nodded. The Korthic Empire had been one of the biggest purchasers of the original entertainment program. They had paid extra money to see humans die in creative ways. Now their ambassador came to Earth every month to deliver tribute and beg for continued peaceful relations. Ambassador Grexthal entered the office, moving carefully and keeping his forearms visible at all times. He was a massive creature, over 8 feet tall, with thick armor plating and natural weapons that could tear through steel. But in the presence of a human, he acted like a frightened child. "General Chun," he said, his translator making his words sound respectful and humble. "The Korthic Empire brings this month's tribute offering." He placed a container on her desk filled with rare metals, advanced technology, and art treasures from across the Korthic worlds. The tribute was worth more than some planets' entire economies. "The tribute is acceptable," General Chun said calmly. She did not thank him. Humans no longer thanked aliens for anything. The galaxy owed them everything, and everyone knew it. "Is there anything else the great human empire requires?" the ambassador asked nervously. General Chun looked at him for a long moment. The Korthic Empire had 300 worlds and trillions of citizens. Their military was one of the strongest in the galaxy. But this ambassador was terrified of one human woman in a simple military uniform. "No," she said finally. "You may go." The ambassador left quickly, almost running in his eagerness to escape human presence. General Chun watched him go without emotion. Fear was more useful than friendship when dealing with aliens, who had paid to watch human extinction on the other side of the galaxy. The Melody Federation was holding an emergency session of their peaceful council. The Melody claimed to be the most civilized species in the universe, dedicated to harmony and understanding between all living beings. They had also purchased viewing rights to watch 8 billion humans die for entertainment. Chancellor Yelmira read the monthly report on human activities with growing anxiety. Human trade ships have been spotted in the Outer Rim sectors. Their exploration fleets are mapping star systems near our border worlds, and their military vessels. She paused, struggling to control her fear. Their military vessels are conducting training exercises just outside our territorial space. The council members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. The humans had not threatened the Melody directly, but everyone understood the message. "We know where you are. We know what you did. We are watching." "Perhaps," suggested Councillor Delphis, "we should increase our monthly tribute payments." "To what end?" Chancellor Yelmira asked. "The humans don't want our money. They don't want our technology. They don't want our friendship. They want us to remember that we paid to watch their species die, and they want us to live with that knowledge every day." The truth was that humanity had become something unprecedented in galactic history. They were not conquerors who wanted to rule other species. They were not traders who wanted profit from alien worlds. They were not explorers seeking new discoveries. They were a reminder. Every human ship that appeared in alien space carried the same message. "We are the species you tried to exterminate for fun. We are the people whose children you watched die while eating snacks and placing bets. We survived, we learned, and we remember everything." Dr. Elizabeth Hayes, now Director of Human Xenological Studies, published her annual report on galactic civilization changes. The statistics were remarkable and terrifying. Violent entertainment programming has decreased by 97% across all known species. She noted in her presentation to the Earth Council. The Zephyrian Entertainment Network's competitors have completely eliminated conquest shows from their schedules. No alien civilization currently broadcasts content involving the suffering of primitive species. She switched to the next data screen. Diplomatic contact between species has increased by 400%. With most communications focused on establishing non-aggression agreements and cultural respect protocols. The Galactic Civilization Council has passed 17 new laws protecting developing species from interference. General Chun, now promoted to Supreme Commander of Earth Defense Forces, listened with satisfaction. "What about military buildup?" "Interesting pattern," Dr. Hayes replied. "Most species are reducing their military forces. However, they're investing heavily in defensive technologies and early warning systems. Everyone wants to know if humans are coming, but nobody wants to look threatening enough to attract our attention." The galaxy had fundamentally changed. For millions of years, stronger species had dominated weaker ones. Entertainment based on suffering and conquest had been normal. Primitive civilizations had been viewed as acceptable targets for amusement. Humanity had ended that era permanently. Captain Lisa Rodriguez, now Admiral of the Human Space Fleet, conducted regular patrols throughout the galaxy. Her ships never attacked anyone, never threatened anyone, never demanded anything from the aliens they encountered. They simply existed, visible reminders of what humans could do when they decided that a species needed to be eliminated. "Admiral," her communication officer reported, "we're receiving a distress signal from the Velfi system. A primitive species is being attacked by raiders." Admiral Rodriguez considered her options. The Velthis were not on the list of species that had paid to watch human extinction. The raiders might be, though. Set course for the Velthi system, she ordered. Battle speed. When the human fleet arrived, they found a small group of raiders attacking a pre-industrial civilization that had barely discovered metalworking. The raiders were taking civilians for slave markets, destroying cultural sites for entertainment, and broadcasting the whole thing as a live show. Admiral Rodriguez opened a communication channel to the raider ships. This is Admiral Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Forces. You have 30 seconds to withdraw from this system before we demonstrate why the galaxy no longer finds conquest entertaining. The raider ships fled immediately. They knew exactly what humans had done to the Zephyrian Empire, and they had no desire to become the next example. The primitive Velthis species never knew how close they had come to enslavement. They continued their simple lives, unaware that predators had been hunting them until other predators drove the hunters away. But the galactic audience watching the raider broadcast understood perfectly. The show ended abruptly with the message, "Program terminated due to human intervention. We apologize for any inconvenience." 10 years after the entertainment war ended, alien children across the galaxy grew up with new bedtime stories. Instead of tales about brave conquest heroes and exciting adventures destroying primitive worlds, they learned different lessons. Once upon a time, alien parents told their children, there was a species called humans who lived on a small blue world. Some very bad people thought it would be fun to hurt the humans and watch them die. But the humans were much stronger and smarter than anyone knew. They made the bad people go away forever. And now the humans watch over the galaxy to make sure no one else gets hurt just for fun. The stories always ended the same way. The humans are still out there, watching and remembering. So we must always be kind to others, especially those who seem weak or small. Because you never know if someone stronger is watching to make sure we behave. General Chun, now in her 70s, gave her final address as Supreme Commander before retiring. She stood before representatives from every major alien civilization in the galaxy, all of whom had traveled to Earth to hear her words. "We are humanity," she said simply. "We do not forgive what was done to us. We do not forget who paid to watch our suffering. But we do not seek further conquest or revenge. We seek something far more valuable, a galaxy where no species ever again thinks it is acceptable to destroy another for entertainment." She looked out at the alien delegates, seeing fear and respect in equal measure in their eyes. "You have given us tribute, technology, and territory. You have offered us alliance, friendship, and service. But the only thing we have ever wanted from you is this. Remember what happens when you underestimate the species you think are primitive. Remember what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness. Remember what happens when you turn suffering into entertainment." The speech was broadcast to every world in the galaxy. Children and adults, military leaders and civilians, scientists and artists all heard the same message from the species that had gone from victims to apex predators in the span of a single year. We are humanity. We are still here. We are still watching.